Hello YouTube, my name is Lee Smith. I'm head instructor of Blood and Iron Martial Arts, and welcome to our first sparring review in a while. We haven't done one of these for a while. We have lots of call for it. Now that the pandemic is kind of slowing, we're able to get more sparring video to you, which we're going to do more analysis like this if you guys are interested, and it tends to be pretty popular videos. So today we have two students of mine. They're a part of an affiliate group in the Philippines. They have a school, Forge Pioneer, and the two coaches are Rio and RG. These guys are quite talented. They've come a long way in the last couple of years, and man, you're in for a treat. These guys are good. So today we're going to look at their fight video. I'm going to show you what they did really well, what needs improvement, and positions where you could take advantage of a fighter if you found yourself in the same position, like opportunities for strikes. All right, let's begin. Okay, here they are squaring off. Not much there. Again, not much there. Not much there. Nice, there we go. Let's break this exchange down. So when I say not much there, he throws his cut in. Watch him move. So right there, stop. Right there's a mistake. See how the tip is no longer threatening his opponent? So with the tip not threatening his opponent, RG can relax. Rio here is waiting. RG's relaxed. Not much is going on. And you see his feet here, kind of in a weird position. This would be actually a perfect time for RG to attack with a thrust. Let's continue. See, stop. RG attacks with a cut. It's shallow, it's out of measure. So he probably should have just attacked with a thrust, provoked him into a weak position, provoked him so he's back on his heels, instead of like just throwing a cut to test him. Continue. He attempts a leg snipe, but he's off balance. So, yep, there's no weak touch, if anything, there. Nice feeling, nice read by. See, right there is really nice. Can we slow that down again? Just that base, that exchange. Perfect. So right here, RG figures maybe I should go for the thrust. He attempts it. Go for it. Realizes that it's going to fail. They bind. So right now they're in contact. Now it's a question of who's feeling, who's better proprioception. Watch this move. That clearly is Rio. Now right here, Rio strikes the side. He's on edge, which is good, but a better target would have been striking on this line here, right through the head, and so hit the head and collapse the arm simultaneously. This way he risks no afterblow. In a tournament, in tournament scenarios, primarily in Europe, what you'd end up seeing is he'd strike the side, but because this line wasn't constrained, usually the other athlete would strike for the afterblow. Okay, next exchange. They're moving around. Yeah. This time Rio has his point on target, just little snipes, nothing good there. Very quick, yep, nice. Good cover by RG. Not much there, but both people pretty well defended. No real significant contact. Attempt of a head strike with good cover from RG. Both these guys are in balance, mobile, and watch them, they're circular. Not just staying in a line, each one is trying to circle off the other person's line. So that was a pretty good exchange by these two. We'll move to our next exchange. All right, 52 seconds. Moving around. Stop. See that tip up? His tip comes up. Now he's no longer threatening RG, so RG feels he can do pretty much whatever he wants. Good, nice. But, I mean, that is a lot better. That is essentially what I talked about in the first exchange. He did. Let's go back to it and go slow it down so we can take a look. So watch this here. Even though RG has an opportunity, he wastes it by making a weak snipe attempt. See what I mean? Look at how hyperextended he is. So it's a hyperextension here. He's completely off balance, back foot off the ground. So right here, not so good. RG can do better. He's done better in the past, but I mean, everyone makes mistakes in sparring, so this is part of that breakdown. These are things to look at it with your own students as well when you do video analysis. Okay. Moving in, he resets. RG's the aggressor again. good simultaneous movement here. Now you watch Rio. He comes in, he deflects the sword offline enough that he can get close, and he brings the sword down nice and close, striking the head and trying to strike the arms. Now, if he had came down by bringing his elbow down in this exchange, knocking into the sword, he would have come down a proper angle, which would again collapse the head and the arm simultaneously, leaving almost no chance for an afterblow. All right, next exchange. So right here is just doubly. I mean, come on. These guys are much better than this. Let's go back to it. So right here, Rio goes to set something up. Completely misses. Stop. See how off balance he is? He's just flicking the sword at him. Stop. Right there. He's wound the sword up. I mean, RG can see this from a mile away. He's used to fighting good opponents. Now, correct move here. RG should have exited measure with a retreating step and come back and pressed him with the point. But watch what happens. He tries to make contact instead and stands his ground. With a taller opponent, not so wise. You've got to be more mobile when your opponent's taller. And Rio is about 6 inches taller than RG. Moving around. Stop. And we're in this position here. So we call, when I refer to this as squaring your high guard. So right now, he's almost square at his high guard. So he's outside the 45-degree line, meaning that every cut he's going to throw from here, he's going to pump. So basically, he's going to show what happens. So he pumps, see the pump, and then he comes down for a big motion, completely ignoring RG's point, right? But he ducks under RG's point to make this cut, but RG is smart. He brings it back in and makes a thrust. Almost doubly there. I mean, that's only because Rio avoided making the double there, which is being a good sparring partner, but at the same time, looking at video review, if you're looking at your students seeing that, you should probably educate them that that would be a double and to try to avoid that in the future. Let's continue. Nice. This is like a really pretty much a textbook exchange. Really clean, really good. Here's Rio trying to start kind of an armored key guard, and press pause for a second. It's an attempt at kind of somewhere between key and plow. I mean, it looks more like a key to me. But when you're in gear, sometimes it's hard to get the positions exact. So I kind of look at it as a key guard position. So from here, he throws his thrust in key. He goes to this place, fakes him out, but RG's a little wise to it. Now he cuts underneath. This nice undercut to suppress his sword and suppress his arms. Continue. Stop. He makes the cut to the arms. And he follows it up, which is good. It's a really good policy to follow up. Undercut. He's overreached there. It's not so bad though. It could be worse. And now he comes around and hits him again. When you're in doubt, it's like the Zombieland movie says, double tap. So as we move to the next exchange, we see them now circling each other, point forward, which is good. Both on the high guard. Both go the same idea. Nice wrath position here by Rio. So right here, double kill. Slow, stop. So let's see who initiates the attack. True double. They both go at the same time. They both mistime their action. And this is just part of learning and sparring. It's going to happen to everybody, myself included. Rio comes in, but it's too late. He's already committed to his cut. RG thinks he has a thrust line. He doesn't. A thrust is not a wise play when dealing with someone in wrath. I mean, that's just more advanced strategy. But if you're seeing someone in wrath, go down and make their cut. Probably not wise to provoke with a thrust. Probably better to circle, change guards, find something you can do to them to get them out of that wrath position. What do we have here? Let's slow back. Yeah, looks like a covered thrust to me here. So what ends up happening, let's go back here and I'll show you how he sets it up. So stop. He's in his high guard, he realizes nothing's going to happen, he brings it down. Right now, he's just trying to bring it down, and I guess RG attacks probably when he didn't expect it. I mean, I wouldn't have expected RG to attack there either, but as he comes forward, you're going to see him shoot out. And this is really good reflexes. This is good training in reflexes. He drives against the line. He makes a wedge, puts the sword low, which is good. Now as he brings the sword up, he locks it in to create this covered thrust action. This is nice because it's hard for someone to get an afterblow from here. Also too, if you're looking at this with a sharp sword, then you're looking at it from that lens, well, this will go right through him, pinning his own sword to his chest. I mean, not gonna lie, 30 inches of penetration doesn't sound like fun with a sharp longsword. So you start to see fighters get tired, and this is normal in these long exchanges. We have 10, 12 exchanges, fighters get tired. All right, so this is that. Now that's where you see the tired fighter act. Now they're getting tired. And you can see he's just trying to hold the sword out, trying to keep the sword between them. The tip comes up, he's making that mistake again. He knows it's a mistake. We've gone over it in our own coaching, but you're gonna see how he's moving the tip around now. RG's pretty patient. RG's a really patient fighter, which is a great quality. But, stop. RG second guesses his line. RG at this point could drive his line forward, creating a wedge and driving this in. Look how stable his feet are here and here. The back foot is up in almost a sprinter stance. His weight is now forward weighted, meaning that if RG wants, he can drive his sword against him. But RG is also in a position slightly, look at the angle of his leg here, meaning he's not really ready to spring. He could do that by pivoting the front foot and driving the weight forward, although because he wasn't in balance when he was moving around, it would make it a little more difficult. So let's see what happens. And now he abandons his thrust. He thinks about it, he just doesn't do it. And this is a big thing. Especially in sparring, have belief in your technique. See if it works. If it doesn't, you're going to gain more by not second guessing yourself. That was a good attempt at his work. Let's see if it landed. Nope. And the second attack was just flat on his shoulder. We call this knighting him. He essentially knighted him. Again, moving around. Circling. Yep. Nice. Good movements. Solid blocks. But you guys are still tired. You start seeing the legs. And you start seeing the postures. Now we're going to slow it down, take another look. So this is this kind of, we call this California tog. The kind of California tog position. I absolutely hate this position. Right here, this leaves him open for a nasty arm snipe. If you're a good sniper, you can hit this elbow pretty much at will. Now he's a little out of measure, but Rio has pretty long measure for his height. So if I was him, I wouldn't risk it, personally. Rio's not in a position for a snipe either though. He's in this kind of like semi-crown position. Neither guy's in a great position here, but this is due to fatigue. You can start seeing it. If you look at the shoulder slump forward here on Rio, he's now leaning over his over his lead leg. That's fatigue in a fighter. I would have called it earlier as a side coach, but this is all learning experience anyway. So again, almost lands a thrust again, almost, but he abandons it. Again, it's a thing of believing in your technique. If he had driven this in, he would have landed that thrust. So here it is. He strikes. RG does a desperation parry. I mean, at this point, when you're that far out of balance and you're that far out of battery, any parry is good. You're going to make any parry you can. Everyone's been there. You're going to hope for the best. It was a good attempt at his work by a very tired Rio. They back out, and nothing really scored in that exchange. Good. And that's just pure aggression. Really nice though. I mean, he kept the vor, which is good. Let's break it down. So again, at this point, Rio's just going to attack. He's tired, he's going to attack. It's kind of his style. He's quick, he's big, he's powerful. Yes, knocks the blade aside, comes in. Now go back for a second here. You can see he's just jumping forward. He is coming forward with everything he's got left. Now, right now, I think he surprises RG, because if RG had stayed in Ox or kept his hand a little lower, a little higher up, he could have made this parry a little easier. And that looks like it comes down on his hands. Quality of video is kind of like not perfect, so it's hard for me to see. But I'm pretty sure that comes down his hands, but by looking at the bend of the sword, it looks like it's flat. So as he continues up, yeah, there's the strike. There's the finishing strike. And you notice these guys are doing a really good job of not calling any incidental contacts and flats. Remember guys, a flat of a sword just does absolutely nothing, especially to the body. I mean, you're not going to do anything with this flat to the body at all, other than eat a shot to the head, which is exactly what happened here. Okay, circling around. He strikes, big wild strikes. Now this is what I was talking about a tired athlete. When an athlete is too tired, now just slow this down. He goes to wrath, and it's a huge movement. See how big this is? I mean, this is a lot of time. RG could have had a beer and a cigarette in that time period. So he goes for this huge movement. Stop. Right there. See how he's leaned all the way back? He's cutting over the lead leg. Sword over the floor. At this point here, and you can see, look at the position of RG here. He's on the back leg. He's leaned backwards. Not so good, right? But this, again, this is due to fatigue. So again, he makes a cut. He's now backed into a corner. Let's see what happens. Attempted a schnitt, but pretty much just everything locked up. Yep, I'm gonna go back to it. It looks like what happens here is a snipe. But again, he's in this kind of weak tog position. He drops it into a plow. But then he leans back in the kind of strange long point. He's flicking the sword at him. Good attack by RG, just out of measure though. So RG there misread his measure, and Rio capitalized on it. Remember the taller fighter, if you cut out of measure repeatedly, you don't cut in earnest as a shorter fighter, what ends up happening is taller fighter will definitely capitalize on a snipe. Right, it's the nature of the reach game. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in, checking out this video, and checking out my first sparring review. I hope you guys like it. Normally I just do this in private for students. I want to personally thank RG, Rio, and The Forge for allowing me to do this. Like, this is a hard thing to go on YouTube publicly and allow this kind of breakdown to happen. So thanks guys, I really appreciate it. We hope you liked today's video. If so, please like and subscribe. And as always, big thanks to our Patreon supporters, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. If you enjoyed today's lesson and enjoyed today's video, you can check out our online live Zoom classes, and which you guys can get more of this as well, because there's lots of fight reviews and lots of fights up in our private Discord. So as always, train hard, fight easy. Quit breathing so heavy, Steve. You're really snorting. Okay. Fair enough. Fucking stupid. All right.